Congresswoman Jackie Speier serves on the House Intelligence Committee. Good evening, Congresswoman. And
Hi,
do
Greta.
you believe that there is a White House cover-up?
I think there's reason to believe that they are hiding information from us. And I think that Mr. Cummings has done a good job of putting a very bright light on documents that show that General Flynn, who was fired, I might add, by President Obama, General Flynn had violated the Emoluments Clause that requires him, because he is an officer, to get permission from the Department of Defense before accepting any money from a foreign source. He did not do that.
All right, you say hiding information. Is that a nice way to say cover-up, or aren't you going as far as Congressman Elijah Cummings? Are you unwilling to say cover-up?
I'm not willing to say it's a cover-up at this point in time, but I feel certain that they are not sharing with us all the information they have.
What do you want from the White House? What do you expect them to give you?
Well, they clearly had to do some background check on General Flynn, and they are making it seem like that wasn't their responsibility. Of course it was their responsibility. It wasn't the responsibility of President Obama, who had fired him, to do a background check on him. And I think we have the right to know what information they had and what conversations General Flynn had with third parties from other countries during that time before the president was sworn into office, but during the transition.
All right. According to the White House, General Flynn's trip to Moscow was late 2015, and that in spring of 2016, during the Obama administration, he had a security clearance sort of re-up, to speak. And so that this preceded the President Trump taking the oath of office in January. Does that make any difference to you?
No, it makes no difference to me, because he had a responsibility to inform the Department of Defense. He did not do that. And it did not really become public until much later in 2015 or 2016. So that is the responsibility of the retired general. And I have actually circulated a letter today with all of my colleagues asking them to join with me and ask the acting Secretary of the Army to fully investigate General Flynn, because he has violated the Emoluments Clause, and under that clause he can be required by the Department of Defense, by the Secretary of the Army, to return all the money he's received from Russia, and in the case of Turkey, from Turkey as well, because he did not get consent from the Department of Defense when he first embarked on that travel.
I'll tell you what I think is rather curious today is that almost immediately after the accusation started swirling, there is a statement by General Flynn's lawyer which says, in part, the Defense Department was fully aware of the trip. But what's not in the statement, and what, as we lawyers call impeachment by omission, is it doesn't say that the Defense Department was aware that he was getting paid or that they gave him permission. That's not in the statement.
Right. And let's also remember that he came out very early as the attorney for General Flynn to say he wants immunity and he'd be happy to talk. So they appreciate that he has violated the law, that he has probably going to be required to return all of that money, and may actually be in a position where he could go to jail.
Do you know, obviously the Inspector General of the Department of Defense is now investigating General Flynn. Do you know if there's a criminal investigation by the FBI, Department of Justice, of General Flynn, one separate and apart from this, just of General Flynn?
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know that there is. I was just sort of curious because there's all the sort of the discussion coming out of the Defense Department, out of Capitol Hill, but sort of the real danger always in this town is if the FBI and DOJ is after you. But Congresswoman